Oh damn, clock wasn't over yet. Hey guys. Welcome. How you guys doing? Any news in your life? Fucking COVID. Oh man. I tell ya, things are crazy here. Big news ahead. So actually you're going to be the first ones to publicly know that. Good afternoon to China. Coffee, pink juice and water. Why does that sound strange? No pink juice for me today, and actually my coffee is nearly gone. There you go, that's it. No more coffee tonight. Or maybe later. The break screen still says coffee break, so I may justify that later down the line. Hey Twitch Evans! How you doing? Yeah guys, honestly, big news ahead, I can tell you. Last days have been crazy. Looks like I'll be moving in 4 weeks. Back to Europe. Yay! Gonna be exciting. So after 3 years of California, back to the mainland, so to say. Although not going back to Germany, that's too cold. Moving to Spain in November. So if you guys are from Spain, come by and say hi. It's fun. Last few days have been pretty crazy, pretty like organizing and getting everything sorted. But yeah, booked the flights today. Going off to, that's why the announcement says there's gonna be a little bit of a longer break between I think October 20th and November 20th, something like that, because I was like going back and forth. Do I sell all my stuff here and buy it new over there? Or, but right now I think the cheaper option is to pack everything and ship it over on a friggin' boat. So it's gonna be like 3 or 4 weeks till the stuff arrives in Spain. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. That's gonna be nice. Area of I think it's Costa de la Luz. So a little bit above Gibraltar. You could pretty much wave to Africa from there, so that's nice. Gonna be interesting. And I actually need to kind of do the last. That's why the laptop is sitting there, because I actually start packing the whole studio in 2 weeks. No, not even. If all goes well, I send the studio off already October 9th. That's a week earlier that it arrives then. And gotta do the rest of the work here from my laptop. Yay, that's gonna be fun. So if anyone is in the OC area, I have a ton of acoustic panels to give away for free or for a small donation. So if you're in the Orange County area or in the Los Angeles area and need like bass traps and custom, well, not custom built, DIY sound panels, but with proper rock wool, just let me know in the comments and I can hook you up. You can come by and just take it. So, free sound panels, yay! If anyone needs them. Otherwise, they end up in the trash, so I'm not gonna take them with me. Why did you... Yeah, Josh, the thing is, COVID is, of course, one of the reasons. The main reason is actually my kids. I haven't seen my kids in over a year. And the plan initially was they should have been with us by now already. They wanted to live here for a year, wanted to come in summer. And yeah, then COVID happened in March, and I haven't been able to go to Germany since then, and they haven't been able to come here. So I needed to make a decision. Not gonna work. Not being able to get to my kids, you know. So yeah, moving to Spain at least gives me the possibility to have them around whenever we need, because it's just an hour flight to Germany. And well, also it's good for my company with my business partner. He is staying in LA, and I can take care of the European side of things and try to grow the market there and get docu scores and reality scores situated with some more European clients. So that's actually pretty good and pretty reasonable to move over there. And to be honest, I'm really excited. So I mean, the whole COVID situation like has worn out, and all the kind of political craziness happening in the States right now. Feel like it's the best move. LA is dead meat right now, so the reason to come to LA is actually to meet people and meet people in the industry and get to know people. And nobody's meeting, nobody goes out. Everything is, I mean, if you guys don't know, LA is pretty much still under lockdown, so since March, so nothing really has happened. And hey, ironic, yeah, all is good, all is good. I'm pretty excited about the next steps. So yeah, and obviously with my German passport, it's way easier to settle anywhere in Europe. So I'm not bound to Germany. If you have a EU passport, which the German one is, you can pretty much settle in any of the 25 member states of the EU, and you can work there. You don't need a visa or anything. You just go there and start your life there. That's the cool thing about the EU. And yeah, Germany just sucks 9 months a year. And I got accustomed to the Californian climate, I have to admit. So I need beach, I need sun, I need nice weather, I need no snow, or at least just the littlest amount possible. And so the south coast of Spain was the obvious choice. I mean, the trouble with the virus is everywhere in the world, so they are on lockdown as well, and it's not like they're celebrating life on the streets there. But at least just from the sheer preparations, looking through through what you need to do to travel there, especially when you come from the US and want to enter Europe mainland right now with the whole Corona thing. When you see how fucking organized everything there is, you download the app, you do your health certificate, you get a QR code that you just scan, and you're good to go, and it's crazy. And then you look at the way the US handled this whole thing, and you wonder, well, actually, you don't wonder why the US looks the way it does. So it's a total failure from top to bottom how the whole US reacts to this whole thing, especially when I hear back from my peers in Europe how things go over there. They have been hit hard as well, of course, but the way they handle the situation and work with it is completely 180-degree turn from what is happening over here. And so I have a lot of trust that Europe will bounce back pretty soon and pretty solid, back to kind of a certain kind of normality. But yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, I'm most excited about the fact that I can now count the weeks till I finally have my kids back in my arms. So it's like 12 more weeks, not even. So if I were to stay here, I wouldn't even know for the whole next year if I would be able to see them. So, and yeah, Germany is fucking cold in winter. And the fall is wet and the spring is wet, and the only really nice month are actually from May to July pretty much, or August, if at all. Yeah, yeah, right. LA is dead meat. So I haven't been. Actually, funny enough, 2 weeks ago was the first time in over more than half a year that I have been out to a restaurant with my wife. Um, and it was actually fine. So we were at a Cheesecake Factory and felt safe, and everything was kind of felt pretty normal besides all the people wearing masks. So that was fine. Doing that again tomorrow. But anyway, I'm drifting off, but I want to let you know. So there will be a... How's your Spanish? I started Duolingo today. So I know niño and la niña and hombre. And that's about it. No, but I definitely... Well, I have a little bit of an affiliation with languages. I do like languages. So... I don't think, especially when you go there and are surrounded by the language every day, it doesn't take too long to pick it up. Una cerveza, por favor. I think I'm good with that to survive in Spain and at least get a beer somewhere. So you learn a little bit of German. Wow, that's great. No, but my Spanish is, I think, on the same level as is my Chinese. So, non-existent. But yeah, I downloaded Duolingo today on my phone and started the first foray into Spanish language. I'm even more concerned about my kids when they decide to live with us there and they go to school, and after 3 months, they're kind of like... picking up the language. I mean, kids pick up the language way, way faster than grown-ups do. So... Oh, sorry, I need to kill that background track. That's me whistling there. I hate that. Sorry. I had to kill that. I need to take that out of the playlist. Anyway. So... There you go. Yeah, cheers, beer. I don't speak Spanish at all, but yeah, it's just a matter of getting your ass down and just do something about it. I strongly believe that if you just be open-minded and just go for it, it's none of an issue. You pick it up like this. Hopefully. I have no idea if that's going to work out. But the cool thing is that... I think with English and German, you have a pretty solid foundation to find a lot of people in Spain that at least, and you still have hand and feet to communicate. Yeah, actually, I watched Daniel's stream a little bit before I went live and saw that he was talking about the fact how life in LA is right now, etc. And I kind of had to smile to myself when you say, yeah, like, rents are crazy in LA. And the thing is that, I mean, there is a shortage of living spaces, so I understand why the rents are, overall, the prices for houses and apartments are so insanely high here. Because they don't have enough. So that's totally understandable. But at least you need to have a reason to justify the amount of money you throw into that by getting returns for being able to meet people, go out and see other people, get into the industry, which is all not happening. So that means right now, as I've mentioned before, LA is dead meat, so it's hard to justify throwing these insane amounts of money into just being on the spot, when technically you can do the job. Do you actually see Cookie over there? Cookie! Hey! Say hi! When you really can do anything that you do pretty much from home. I mean, I've been working, as composers, we have been training for social or physical distancing for the last 20 years, but I have been working the last 6 months from home. Haven't been out and was talking to clients on phone, on Zoom calls, etc. No, it's not that I embrace it and totally like it. I mean, I love meeting people and having face-to-face meetings and talks and things like that. But I mean, you got to adjust to today's realities. And the reality right now is that you do not have to be here to either to make it or to keep continuing what you do. I mean, I always said that all I need to work is have a place with have a roof above my head, have electricity and Wi-Fi. Then I'm good, no matter where I am in the world. And as long as I have a little bit of studio setup to keep working. But yeah, it has definitely changed. The whole COVID and virus situation has changed a lot of parts of the world, but specifically LA and the whole industry here has changed quite dramatically. And if I think about the fact that I can get a house double the size of what I have now with a big basement studio room, so I will have a bigger studio than I have now, yay! Directly at the beach, so I can go out my garden and touch the water immediately for not even half the price what I pay here. So that is it's ridiculous. So the whole decision came pretty fast then overall. We were first thinking, okay, do we do it at the end of the visa, like next year March or something? And then the question, okay, why wait longer? I mean, each week that I wait, I don't see my kids, so it was the logical thing to do to head over there ASAP. So now, November 3rd, November 2nd actually, heading off back to Europe mainland. There we go. But the 3 years in LA were great, as it were, and there's no regret or anything. It did so much for my career and getting to know people and setting up my company and all that stuff. So it was successful overall, but times have changed this year. I mean, 2020, we can erase that from our collective memory. But nevertheless, it was great, but it's just now time for the next step. And I mean, you guys don't really care where I sit and stream. I guess. And likely the channel is going on the way it used to be, and I really hope and intend to grow it more and do more hands-ons, giveaways and stuff like that, because I love the fact that you guys get something out of it. Ram, there it is, my brother from another mother. Ram's my business partner, and he's going to stay in LA, and DocuScores and Reality Scores going to be a worldwide venture with an office in LA and an office in Spain. So there we go. Makes it easier for me to get in touch with European clients. So that's a good thing there. Of course I keep streaming. I will not leave that. I love streaming. I love you guys. I love all the support that I've gotten from you. And actually, I already have some new products in the work for the CTO shop. I'm not sure if I can finish them before we head off. I just booked my flight today. So the problem is my stuff is going to leave probably already October 10th. So like in close to 2 weeks, and I will fly over November 3rd. So yes, there will be a Twitch break. So pretty much mid-October till mid-November, there will be no streams for approximately 5 weeks, because once I'm in Spain, I need to wait for the Proxen, just thank you for the subscription. I need to wait for my studio and stuff and all the things to arrive. They come by ship because air freight is so fucking ridiculously expensive that I said, okay, wait for 4 weeks and just get it over by ship. Bernie, hi, good to see you. I'm going to be in Spain. So pretty much keep the climate as I'm used for the last 3 years from California. Cool thing is that the water over there is even warmer in summer. California is like 64 if it gets warm. The place where I'm going has absolutely solid internet. Straight, I think it's 100 Mbps. It's totally fine, and so yeah, we're good with that. Bernie, no, not Mallorca. I don't go on the island. No, southwest coast of Spain mainland. So the Atlantic side, like 50 kilometers from the border of Portugal. Bernie, you have a house for me on Mallorca? No, I don't intend to go to Mallorca. I'm not the biggest fan of living on islands. I like to grab my car and be able to flee wherever I need to go whenever shit hits the fan. So at least I want to be able to go by car. But it's good to know for possible holidays or whatever. So you get a house on Mallorca. That's great. Yeah, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Let me. Okay, doggy sleep now. Need to grab a coffee soon. How you guys been doing? What's COVID doing with you? Anything that it's changed in your life because of that whole shit show going on in the world? I mean, you can honestly say who is not affected by that. So, question is just how you react to it and what you make of it. I think, at least. Let me quickly organize a little bit the libraries here. Stay at home and make music, exactly. That's what's going to happen. I'm still wondering if I should if I even write music at all today. If I do something hopeful or something sad. I mean, of course, it's sad to leave California. I love it here. I mean, I moved here because I love California. But yeah, again, it's currently just not worth it anymore. Especially when, or, well, it's tough to say not worth it anymore. It's tough because when you're not a citizen or a green card holder. I mean, if you were a citizen or a green card holder, at least you'd still be kind of able to travel. But for me, in my status right now, if I were to go to Germany to visit my kids, I would not be able to come back to the States. Simple as that. So, that sucks. So we gotta change that. Write something transitional. If I only knew what you mean by that. Let's jump into the DAW session. Not piano. I mean, honestly, I didn't write anything with the Ithera series. We just had a look at the instruments. Maybe we should look into writing something with Ithera. What do you think? Checking out Ithera a little bit more with all the patches in there and write some shit. I feel that's something we could do. Check out some more of the instruments. Let me quickly load that up. Nothing to hear there. Yeah, we only checked the new patches. I mean, it's crazy. You could work with this for hours because there's just so much stuff in there. Thank you, DQ Diesel. Bye bye. Who are your biggest composer inspirations? That's actually a tough one. I mean, whoever has watched my channels knows that I'm a fan of Big Hans. So Hans Zimmer definitely, I personally think that he has reinvented himself more than once and is brilliant at what he does. Even if he may not be the best classical writer or whatever, but he is one of the best when it comes to creating emotions with soundscapes, no matter if it's orchestral or synth-based or inventive with having fucking 12 steel guitar players in a row or something like that. So he's definitely one of my biggest inspirations. In terms of film music, I love Harry's work, Harry Gregson Williams. Then see, Duolingo's reminding me that I should do new lessons. Thank you very much, hombre. And then yes, Hans may have now an army of ghost composers, but throughout his career, there's enough stuff that he has done himself. So he has earned the place he is in. Can you move the camera up a bit to be able to see the tempo of the project? I don't know, can I? Ba, 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 ba. Where's my camera? There we go. Yes, I can. But then I need to move the chat as well. And I need to move this. Still figuring out what the best way to get. I mean, in Spain, I will definitely will get a curved screen. So that will allow me to have a bigger field for the DAW. So I have a little better area to showcase on the stream. John Powell, by the way, is another one. Actually, when I asked that question like a week or 1 or 2 weeks ago on my YouTube channel, what you guys want to see, an awesome private message. Actually, John Powell has been a big request for a bunch of times. The thing is that I need to get my fucking ass down and educate myself first before I jump on a stream with a John Williams style piece, because this is not something that I write out of my left arm. Just funny. I mean, I love the way he writes and what he does, but I personally suck at woodwind writing, especially, and it's just he is so insanely good in orchestration that I'm kind of hesitant to look at that during a live stream. Like, let's write something John Williams style piece. Roundtables will definitely come. I plan on doing a. Can I say that already? I definitely cannot say who I plan to have on that, but there will be a game composer roundtable pretty soon with talking about game stuff. Well, pretty soon is now pretty relative because of the stream break that we're going to take, at least for a month. But yeah, planning on having a video composer roundtable. Have some very nice guys in mind that might be able to share their wisdom there. So that's coming there is still due, and I need to prep that soon. We want to do a roundtable with Stephen Latness from the Able Artist Foundation, a little bit talking about often not often talked about topic like disabled artists and what the industry can do for them and what options there are and some of the struggles that are part of that. So we will have a roundtable on that topic soon. In 2021, I definitely want to kind of try to expand on the concept and have more roundtables, even further reaching into other areas of the media industry. So not only specifically about composing, but for example, I want to do like interviews with music supervisors, with directors about working relationship, not only with composers and working on film, but also grabbing the mind of the producers or directors from their end of the table, how they see working with composers, what the struggles for them are, and things like that. So there's a lot of room for great content that is going to happen. I just need to organize that all a little bit and put it into a nice schedule and invite you guys all over. So there's that. Let's want to check some of the pads. Yeah, but I definitely do something like composing to a video clip or a short film or something. I want to cover that for sure. Anything in specific that you want to take a look at, like in terms of libraries? I mean, now's the chance because I haven't planned anything. I don't even know if I'll feel like writing a lot, but maybe there's some stuff that we can look at in terms of library that you're interested in that we haven't covered yet. Just slowly scrolling through. I mean, there's such a shit ton of libraries. I have way too much stuff. I think I will never use all of that in a lifetime. I could pretty much stop now. Try to organize that a little bit, like strings, brass, then woodwinds, then percussion, synth, pianos, and all the ethnic stuff at the bottom. Have you ever heard the U-Beat bundle from Umlaut Audio? That one is actually really good. The hybrid kits are really, really good. Really good stuff. What do you use like Serum for sound manipulation design? Well, the problem is when you ask such a question that I unfortunately have to be honest. I rarely, if ever, do sound design at all. I'm a total preset whore. That means I rather browse through my library and look for a preset until I find what I'm looking for, instead of building it on my own from the ground up. Because in the time that I need to build something from the ground up, I have written another 2 queues, kind of, So I like to rather know my presets and at least have a basic understanding of how I need to tweak them or treat them, like putting a filter on it, changing EQs, or just some effects, maybe some basic parameters like ADSR and things like that. But other than that, usually when I write, I have a certain sound in mind, and I think I spend a lot of time getting to know my shit, like knowing what libraries I have at hand, what can they do, what can Omnisphere help me in that, or is it rather a question of using Heaviosity? Is there some stuff in Damage that can help me? So I think, especially in these times where you need to write fast and write a lot, having a crucial understanding of what you actually have at hand, what your sounds are capable of, is more essential when you want to work fast than building all your stuff on your own. And also these skills, like working on your own stuff or working on your own patches, doing sound design and things like that. This skill set grows over time automatically. So I do have some custom sounds as well that I designed myself just for the fun of it, and checking it out and trying to make my own shit. And it was fun while it lasted. But to be honest, so like creating your own custom Brahms and things like that, especially I took the sound design course from Karol Psoda on Eminent. And I met Karol a few times in LA, and he's an amazing guy, great guy, absolutely knowledgeable in terms of sound design. And his Ava Instinct libraries and things like that. It's amazing stuff. And honestly, I wish I would be able to do that kind of stuff. And due to his courses, I kind of am. But on the other hand, if I need half a day to create a nice whoosh hit that I am happy with, and that I say, okay, that sounds gorgeous, if it even does. That was my first whoosh hit that I ever tried. And I tried rises. Oh god, that's bad. That one was bad, and that was actually with Serum. But the time that I need to create these kind of effects, when I grab something from the preset pack and put it into my composition, and it fits the style and it fits everything else, then I just save half a day for other stuff instead of building it my own. And I don't really fucking care if anybody thinks, well, you didn't do it on your own, you used a preset there. Well, yes, I did, because that's what they are for. That's why they are existent. Because if nobody would use presets, why the heck do some? So I'm a strong believer that using presets or pre-made sounds, I'm not talking about like construction kits where you have the mix and the chords and the instrument choice and everything as a given, like the Big Fish audio packs or stuff like that. But sounds and samples, there was always this little text floating around. I didn't like using samples, so I recorded my own. I didn't like using the drum heads, so I started farming my own goats, etc. That's pretty much spot on. So it can be incredibly challenging and rewarding doing your own samples and being very proud of something that you just created from nothing for your own. And I totally get that feeling. I had that myself with other stuff. And you have the same feeling kind of when you write a cue and when you have finished a composition. You created something from nothing, you know? But yeah, I'm a fan of using available sounds and make them my own just by the way I decide to use them in a composition, not necessarily by mangling them. I always believed, and I still believe, that if you, for example, work with loops, get a loops into your track, etc., that the process of deciding what loops or pre-made sounds to use and how to use them in your track is in the same way a creative decision as the actual writing of a track. So, of course, I can say I do a track in C, A minor, F, G, and go away. And that is a creative decision to do. And if I say I put a damage 2 loop underneath my string arpeggio that is playing C, A minor, F, G, then it's my fucking creative decision. It doesn't matter that that loop is a pre-made loop, because I made the decision to use that sound bit in a composition, and by that alone, it turns to something else. Even there are exceptions, of course. There are some sounds and some loops that are instantly recognizable, and especially in today's times of fingerprinting and content ID and things like that, it can be sometimes challenging to use loop-based libraries, especially when they stick out sonically like a sore thumb. I actually experienced that myself. So I had a track for a library that did not register the tracks with content ID, and they licensed a track of mine to a client. And that client was flagged for a track that had nothing at all to do with my track. The only thing that they had in common was that we used the same loop from Heaviosity Evolve, one of the tonal loops. I don't know which one it was now, but the thing is, some of that stuff is can trigger content ID, and that can lead to problems, of course. Especially in a situation where it comes to, like, client has paid money to license something and then gets a copyright strike on YouTube because someone else is using that very same tonal sample. I think it was something from the loop tonals here. I don't know which one. Rhythmic suite. Where are the menus? Aren't there menus here? Oh, I think it's upgraded rhythmic suites, tonals. Yeah, there we go. So, really? Why is that missing? Okay. But at least it's working. So it was one of these higher, I think something like that was on top of the track. Not that exact loop, but... And it triggered. And his track had nothing to do with the track that I did for the library. And it was even a totally different tempo. I think his one was way slower. It was like this. And mine was like 120 or whatever. And it still triggered the YouTube algorithm. Just because it happened to be in the same key. So yeah, you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. But if you put a hi-hat loop underneath your track, it doesn't really matter if you have your hi-hat recorded yourself or use a fucking loop underneath that works in the context. And that doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't degrade the creative value of a composition in any kind of way. I don't think that it does. I know there are people that do, but, well, props to them. If they think they can invest the time and want to invest the time, they are free to do so. If I can get my job done faster, I take any, not shortcut, but any help that I can get with the tools I have at hand, as long as it's solid and helps me in creating. Have you stopped using the Pro 7 completely? No, I didn't. It just depends on the project I'm working on. But a lot of times these streams where I just don't know what I'm doing, well, that is pretty much all the time, where I just not really sure where it's going. I like it's like I always think of a baker that sells bread and cake and never tastes his own stuff himself, you know. So I do sell my Quickload templates, and I actually enjoy working in my Quickload templates myself as well, because it does make the Pro app obsolete, but it gives me kind of the same workflow without having everything preloaded and having like tera and terabytes of samples preloaded. And I feel that it gives me a little more creativity browsing through patches or sounds to just use something else that I regularly not have in my template. But I do have tracks where I have like my most used articulations from strings, brass, woodwinds, and percussion preloaded in a template and then get going. Do I need inspiration? Well, do you feel that I need inspiration? I've never really used the Swarm library in a track. I just remember, I just realized. Do you have Vandria Epic Cinematic Vocal Library? No, I don't. What is that? I obviously cannot know everything. What's called Vandria Epic Cinematic Vocal Library? What is this sorcery? Oh, you don't hear shit because the sound is off. Let me give you this. That should... okay, that was wrong. Wait. I don't want input capture, I want audio output capture. Okay, default, okay. So that should give you sound. Yeah, the copyright strike when I play that. Oh, thank you very much. Vandria Epic Contact Hub. There we go. Could you make something with the Nada library you mentioned the other week? That is actually something we can... Oh, that's not the cheapest library around. 2 types of vocal legato, legato portamento. But it looks pretty extensive. Not expensive, extensive. Not gonna play the demo again. I just had a smile. Best vocal library I've ever used. Richard Marx. Yeah, of course. No, just kidding. The other Richard Marx I had in mind was with an X. Okay, let's look at nada. Let's look at nada. Nada. Isn't that Spanish as well? So there we go. But Angelina? Torsten, what do you mean? What are you talking about? So let's, we need to, obviously my quick load template is completely optimized for contact. So gotta get an engine in there as a first. Well, actually, I can head over to Tari for a coffee then. I just realized, because he's in Spain as well. Belts, tuned percussion. Belts is tuned percussion, isn't it? So there we go. Oh, Richard, you know, I meant Richard Marx. The singer, the 80s singer. Let's check out some. No, we want to check the belts. Winds come later. Percussion pitched. Belts. Dream belts. I mean, I know that I did a stream with the library, but there's just so much freaking stuff in there. Sounds like it's a little bit to the right. Just forgot my reference again. There we go. Hey, D Piano. Welcome. Morning, Daniele. Yeah, I guess it's not so much longer till engine 3 knocks on the doors. David! Yeah, go to sleep. I play you some bell sounds. Talking about which, since you just moved to Santa Monica, do you happen to need some sound panels? I have some spare ones lying around that I need to get rid of. So if you need some, let me know. There's a viola da gamba in nada? Did I miss something? There is a viola da gamba in nada. gonna get rid of the pad. If you're thinking of a new computer, yeah, 32 I would consider the absolute minimum. If you can go for as much CPU as you can and can financially justify, as well as much RAM as you can financially justify. So I have to be honest, the minimum oh, Dreampad, yeah, that was the one. The minimum amount for me, for my needs, is actually an i9 processor and 64 gigs of RAM. Ideally, even 128 gigs of RAM. But 32 is the absolute minimum. If I think of Araya alone, the new library from new string library from Audio Imperia, if you were to have a slave or a system where you want to have all the articulations loaded to be ready to play, on my slave, my Araya instance on VE Pro is sitting at 62 gigs RAM usage idle. So, Brian, thanks so much for the sentiment. Really appreciate it. Yeah, anytime soon it's going to happen that the streams are then well, I will not start to do the streams in Spanish. That might be fun. Hola, señoras y señoritas. No, not gonna happen. Especially since some of you guys that tune in later may not get the reference. That has happened in the beginning of the stream. So I'm sorry if you're out of the loop. Well, the legato is not really the best one, isn't it? If I compare that to the viola da gamba in Era. Thanks so much, Amphony. I really appreciate it. Sebastian. Dawson, there is a, if you are on YouTube, there's a super chat button on the lower left of the YouTube channel, of the YouTube chat on the video. Well, actually, know what? Let's write a little bit with Eduardo stuff. There's just so much good stuff in here. I did a stream on Celtic Era. I hope I have it. I hope I have it activated on this system. Does the bus board run work? Yeah, I have it activated. That's good. That works. Have I actually ever showed you the Arabic oud from Best Service? Holy shit. This thing is good. Look at the amount of possible articulations. This is crazy. Adila, what do you mean, don't you use pads? Like drum pads for percussion? I have my Atom controller here, so I can use pads for drums if I want to. David, I did a stream with Plug. I actually even did a giveaway. It was really not the stream was really good. The library is really good. I was pleasantly surprised. It's actually really useful for a ton of stuff. So Plug is definitely a no-brainer if you need that type of sound, because just the way it is recorded. So if you want to see it, just check my recent videos on the channel page. So I did a pretty extensive walkthrough of all the individual instruments. And let's quickly check some of the key switches that are in here. So starting with a normal sustain. Hey Podro, nice to see you. And know what the craziest thing about this library is? It's like 300 megabyte or 400. I don't know how they made it possible to have the library size that small. And you have a custom tremolo, so you can, depending on how fast you release the key, you can time the tremolo. That patch alone, or that key switch alone, is, in my opinion, extremely playable. Oh, it's still on legato. What is Easy Mix? Easy Mix is like a little self-contained ecosystem within the Toontrack range, and Easy Mix is easy. So Toontrack does Easy Drummer and Easy Bassist, and we covered quite a bunch of that stuff on the channel. And Easy Mix is their foray into mixing software. I don't have everything from Easy Mix, but this is like a self-contained stuff where you can buy different preset packs for guitars. Actually, there are some really decent guitar amps in there as well. But you can also choose mix presets. So, for example, mix preset for a guitar. Say you're looking for compressor, and then you can just load. Might not be the best effect to showcase that. Insert effects, chorus guitar. There's some really decent stuff in Easy Mix. I think here are some MIDI examples for the oud. Just listen to that. Let me switch off the Easy Mix thing here. These are MIDI examples. I repeat, these are fucking MIDI examples using the key switches. And you see where the key switches go. I think for like 400 megabyte library, this is extremely impressive. I mean, it's not about the size necessarily, but more about the sound. But given that we get like 20, 30, 40 gigabyte libraries for a single instrument, that specific developer, or Bassam Ayoub, I think that's the guy that Best Service worked together with. He developed this little library with such an insane amount of efficiency to have just the useful stuff and the program. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with the programming, but it sounds simply stunning and amazing. Know what? Actually, I feel I want to do something completely different today. I want to do something talking about Easy Mix. Maybe let's turn it around a notch and go away from the orchestral stuff and things like that and do something with a little bit of guitar, drums, bass, maybe some country influence style thingy. I want to do something more with a pop appeal to it. So I feel like doing something different than usual. So first thing to do would be to bring in, well, we could use Superior Drummer or Easy Drums. I'm gonna go with Easy Drums. Let's see what we have in here that works. I mean, I don't have every single expansion under the planet that they have, but at least a little bit. And of course, I have my Nashville not installed. Then let's try to go with... What does lo-fi tape sound like? Nah, not the sound. Believe me, modern is the great. Modern original mix, okay, yeah. I like the tape filter there. That sounds pretty nice. Don't like the snare sound there. Nope. Well, maybe. Maybe. Roomy Rock. I like that sound. I prefer more roomy sounds for drums anyway. So modern country style typically BPM, I guess the 118, something like that. Well, I don't want to call it modern country style. I just want to slam in together some grooves, some guitars, just some stuff. We have in Rules of Hansa. Nope. Oh, I do have the Nashville sound MIDI here. Okay, very straight. Nope, not gonna happen. Okay, let's start with something very straight. Maybe do a little bit of a bridge. Yep. And a little bit of a chorus. But actually from the chorus, let's get in everything. And we have fills. Let's always good to have an 8 fill. No, I like that one. Okay, thank you, stop. So, we have some basic drums going on here. Let's start here. Okay, we need some guitar stuff. So let's start with some basic acoustic guitar. Save that actually. So session. Let's go with strong. Let's try the 12 string. See if we find something good in here. It starts with country, of course. Yeah. Let's check some of these. Oh yeah, the cool thing is about that you can change the bass notes. But Nashville is not what I'm looking for. Britpop? Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's figure out a chord progression. So we can do that twice. Maybe thrice or quartice. Okay, let's go with that. We do D. Let's do D. And so where's my keyboard? We can do... There's no keyboard at all because it's not started. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. There we go. Just making sure that there is no output on this one. Yeah, it's still off. Good. So now I can hopefully get the keyboard inside. Okay, that works. So we're gonna do D. I love that sound, like adding the D to an A major in when you're in D. Oh, forgot that it automatically turns off. 3, 4. So let's start with that. Hard quantize. I actually want to do just the 5th here. Okay. Where do we have a nice fill? Let's start simple. Hey Sachin! Need a symbol there. There we go. Haven't been using the drum editor a lot in Studio One, I have to be honest. Okay. Bass. I mean, since we're using Toontrack, let's use Easy Bass. Maybe that is helpful. Come on, just a little bass. Sending it to bass. And where's the GUI? Wrong color anyway. Okay, just straight. Okay, let's try that and find that.
Actually, I don't want to use MIDI. I want to play them myself. Something like that. Don't know. May delete later. Felt cute. That's not too bad. Let's keep that. Let's save. Maybe we'll find some stuff in the. I did a stream not so long ago with not Osterhaus, not Ben Osterhaus, the Rob van Bogart library. There we go. There was quite a lot of shit in there. Quite a lot of good stuff, actually. Don't like that. But you kind of get the idea where this is going. I like that. Let's delete this. Okay, so at least that's a starting point. Sounds a bit behind the beat overall, a little bit, don't know, lacking groove. So let's try to pump that up a little bit. Mm. Something like that. Let's see. A little bit of guitar can never hurt. Just bring that way down. So, so let's see if that actually works. Why is that not working? Maybe I need to put it before. Oh! I think I need to hold it. Wrong key. Wasn't too bad. Another happy little accident. Oh, the volume is too loud here. I think when you hit the volume too hard, you kind of create a sustain that you actually don't want there. So that works. A little bit of a electric guitar there in the back. And I think now we can bring that back to the one. We have that. Good. We bring the acoustic a little bit to the right. A guitar a little bit to the left. That mandolin is too loud. So and then let's see if we can find some neat little phrases in the what's it called? Red Room Audio Bluegrass. Bluegrass fiddling phrases. So I want to have some phrases, rhythms, various phrases. A#1. So let's put it into tempo. I don't know if that works, but let's try it in the back of the track. think that sounds better. Which one is that? That's this one. Maybe we should try that. No, I don't like that. Okay, let's keep it simple. Let's try this one. Ba, ba, ba. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. They are out of time. Why is that? Better now? No, definitely not better. That works. The problem is, I think I need to do it. Looks like I need to adjust the tempo for each and every single phrase. Because if I... No, tempo sync doesn't work. No, I have to do it on each phrase. Seven, yeah, I actually thought that you were commenting on something from the beginning of the stream. Oh, that's fine. Hi, 007. Okay, let's record this in the back. Which key switch is that? F. Oh, wrong place. 3, 4. Last one was a bit out of time, but I guess that was more my playing. Well, actually what I want to do is use the API. I love the 2500 on drums, especially the 3 preset. Just listen to the difference. Maybe the 2. Hey, Leveler! think I need to turn down the output from Easy Drum a little bit. And we need to send it to drums as well. But Easy Drummer has a little bit too much output. Bring that down to -6. Now we can try number 3 again. Listen to this, the room that it brings out. Now we're talking. I like that. Nice soundscape, that's for sure. Sounds a bit strange on its own, but maybe in the mix it can work. Oh, we could do that in the second part at least. Gotta mix that very much into the back of the mix. And put that a little bit forward. -35. And do a little bit of fill here, since we... Everything sounds good as long as you just repeat it enough. So that song starts to grow on me, strangely enough. So what we can do is load some shimmer and shake into the something like that. Of course, we use the first instrument loaded right away without changing anything. No, we don't. Okay, let's change the pattern up a little and do 2 claps on the second one. Actually do the shake on these as well. Do the last one like this. Okay, that's a nice 4-bar pattern. So 5. So we need full bar. Done. Okay. Let's change the acoustic guitar up a little. In this part, at least, we need some more energy, I guess. I mean, it's the same chord pattern, just a different rhythm and maybe a different guitar. So let's use the 6th string. Andalusia. Perfect for my future plans. I don't know if that works, but let's try it. Maybe do it an octave higher. And there's also some... No, keep it on D. Keep it on A, and then we gotta move the whole thing to use the high one. That's actually a nice little full soundscape right there. Oh, it did record some stuff that shouldn't have. Don't do that lick every time. Hey Remco, good morning. Oh, the chorus actually in the drums has a good amount of drive, but we may need to change up the chords here. So let's see, what can we do? Let's go with that first A. But with that added third. Nah. Sorry. So all I'm doing here is adding the fourth or the sus on top of the major. That gives that nice sound. Same on the minor here. And then maybe go to a G. So just changing up the chord structure here a little bit. So we're starting on an A, and go to a B. Then go to D, and then to a G. So just changing up the chord structure a little bit. Other guitar, I think we can keep it at that. This guy is the actual guitar we changed. This guy. Let's see, just these two acoustic guitars together. So in this guy, we keep very, very straight. Starting on the A. That's going to be very straight. So let's see. Change in the overall rhythm or in the overall chord scheme does the following. Sounds fucking happy. Oh, oh. Yeah. The A is shit there. So let's change that up. Let's go to F sharp minor. Is that a chord? This thing? No, that's not a chord. So let's go to F sharp minor 7. So maybe that works. That can stay there. That goes there, and the easy bass goes to sharp. Okay. Keep that going. This one needs to change. Okay, let's keep that. 16 solo. No, not this one. This one. Like this. Duplicate this. Nope. What? What happened? What happened? No, I don't want to move that other stuff. You go there. Asshole. Do, 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 do. Missing symbol. Fun little experiment, just working on something totally different that you're not used to. Oh, sorry. Let's save that. Duplicate the electric guitar. See if we can slam something nice on top. Preset. There we go. That's not a dumb question. Even if you don't do any audio recording, it's absolutely helpful to still have a decent audio card, because your audio card is what determines how fast your CPU can handle the audio in terms of ASIO performance. So you can technically use, if you have a Windows computer, like an internal sound card, but that gives you bad performance. Every dedicated audio interface comes with a dedicated audio driver. That means an ASIO driver that the system uses to process the audio. And it kind of, every driver and every audio interface kind of supports the CPU. And when you don't have an audio interface, the CPU has just really a shit ton more to do. So that means that you technically can work without an audio interface, but it's definitely helpful to have a decent ASIO interface to support the CPU for processing the audio, if that makes sense. It's like the thing that you set up in the buffer size and everything. So in the audio setup, you technically could use the Windows audio, but then you might have to use a higher block size. Starting talking Cockney here. Hey mate, how you doing? and you may have a way higher input latency. So that why is an audio interface the not the more expensive the better, but the better drivers. So RME and Apollo are kind of top of the list there, and better interfaces give you better performance and lower latency rates. But that's not good. I can't really say anything how Behringer right now, where they're at with their audio interfaces. I mean, Behringer did a shit ton of amazing work on all these analog synth emulations. I had a DeepMind that was deep mind blowing, pun intended. I actually plan on getting a Poly D once I get to Spain. So I definitely want to put a hardware synth into the studio, and the Poly D seems like a good choice, but I have no idea how that translates into their audio interfaces and if they're worth it and if they're good. Unless you give it a try yourself, I cannot really answer that. Maybe the electric numbers, well, you can get some decent solo sounds out of that, but I am bad at that. So let's try something more easy, for that matter. Better shredder? Maybe we put some solo lines on top here with that last part. Wrong channel. Oh, we were already at that part, that's why I was wrong. I don't want to have that sweeping, that squeal on the top, the random squeal. No, go away. Don't want that. Don't want that. Rather the sustain all the way. Okay. If a guitar sounds shit, wrench it in reverb. let's improvise a little bit on top. There was a lot of shit in there, but some good stuff as well. Some nice lines there. That can be a little bit. That pitch bend was a little bit I really like that part. That was pretty cool. That arpeggio there on top of the F sharp minor. That full part was pretty cool. Oh, there's some pitch bend going on here that should not be going on, because then that sounds shit. Let's actually just delete that after 36th. There we go. So I want to just record some Is there any tutorial about delay compensation, because I'm a newbie and I have no idea about that? Okay, let me help you out there. There are a lot of sample libraries out there. Let's open up. Let's actually use Jaeger because that's the perfect library to showcase that. Single patch of strings. So let's take the spiccato from the strings. So don't worry about that for now. What I'm doing here, I will explain that in a second. So a lot of libraries sound like that, straight out of the box. So you go somewhere in your track, you load a spiccato patch and say, I don't want to go to the beginning of the track. So done. Something quickly recorded, and let's actually quantize that very hard to the grid to 8th notes. Hope you understand what I'm doing here. I'm just taking the recording that I just did and quantize it hard to 8 notes. So it's so that was Jaeger. Let's take another library. For example, LA scoring strings, and we use the violins full spiccato. So load, sorry for the wait there, and play the same thing, but now with the LA scoring string spiccato. Okay, so now watch what happens. Let me load cinematic studio strings. Load the first violins and load the spiccato patch here. So the shorts. Just the cinematic studio string shorts. And I play the same thing. We have the click on. Do you hear what happens? The strings don't sound in time. It sounds like they are off. Let me make them even louder so you can hear it even clearer. So and besides listening to it, I can also show it to you. So when we say bounce the event to new track. Now you can see the short articulations here. And when we, let me unmute this. There we go. So again, this is what the MIDI that we exported. And this is the MIDI that is the audio. So, and it's still not in time. And when we look at this little blob here, oh, even better the last one. So you see, this is the bar 101 where this MIDI note starts. Right here. It's exactly on the one. And you see that the rendered audio is not on the one, but the tip or the peak of the sample of the actual sound is actually, let me take that off, is actually here, right at that peak of the waveform. So there is a gap between the hit of the beat and the sound or the full sound of the
sample. Some developers cut their samples to this position. So when I take just this single sample of that last note, move that over here. So when I were to build a sample library, I mean, it will sound very bad right now, but you get the principle. What happens is they go to that peak of the sample, cut the sample there, and this is your starting point. So, and when you repeat that often enough, then you get this like, it's very hard. I'm not a sample developer, so I cannot do that properly, but you get the idea. So they cut the sample pretty much at the peak point. So when you hit the note, the sample right away sounds. The problem with that approach is that it oftentimes sounds very synthy and unnatural, as I rightfully showcased. So that sounds very bad. So what they do is they leave, especially with string samples, that's very obvious. What they do is they leave a tiny amount of room before the actual peak of the sample hits. And you hear that, you really hear that, like the bow is kind of touching the string, getting the string in vibration, and only then you have that full note. And that even happened with short notes. So yeah, you really can hear that very specifically in this case. And that means that exactly is happening what you hear, that you play the sound, the peak of the sample, or the transient, the so-called transient of the sample, comes a bit later than the beat because you have this build-up to that transient. That means that the whole performance that you play is delayed by a certain amount of time behind the beat. And remember, or listen that I mentioned, it is delayed by a certain amount of time. And to compensate for that amount of time that the sound sounds too late in relation to the beat, you need to offset that being too late. So you need to transfer the whole sound forward so that these transients actually sit on the beat. The problem is, you technically can do that in the MIDI. So you can go into the MIDI and say, okay, this whole shit show here is too late in regards to the click. So now you can go into and say, okay, I gotta move this MIDI a little bit forward to have the transients on time. Like grabbing this and then moving it forward a bit. And maybe you need to find out. So, and now you see, okay, this kind of sits in time. And I just randomly chose the position where I moved it to. But the problem is, once you get into like printing or preparing or sending that off to your orchestrator, he will just take his machete and chop your head off for sending him such kind of MIDI. Because if you turn that into notation, it just looks like a whole big Vegas shit show. So you definitely don't want to do this. You want to have your notes visually straight to the grid. So what you now need to do, instead of so to say physically moving the MIDI events, there is a command in pretty much every DAW besides Fruity Loops and Reaper, as far as I'm aware, that you need that kind of plays back Yeah, I will get to that in a second. Sorry, bear with me. So most DAWs have a function that is called minus delay. So I just wanted to make clear for people who don't understand what it is. Maybe I would just take that out and do that as an extra video. So the minus delay offsets this whole track by a specified amount of time, and the visual representation doesn't change, but it still gets played back earlier. So bear with me when I say Cinematic Studio Strings has a track delay of 60 milliseconds. So at least for the shorts. So when I set this track to minus 60, suddenly and now it is on time and the transients are on the grid. To your question, how you determine where the how much offset there is. There are several ways you can do it. First and foremost, and that's usually the fastest way, let's load a different library here. Maybe something I am not so familiar with, at least something that I promise I don't right away know how much offset there is. Which would be, let's take, I haven't used Xymphobia in ages, so let's take the Xymphobia short strings. And usually, I will say more on that in a second. This usually, and for the most part, this whole track delay thing, for the most part refers to the short strings, because on long strings you kind of can get away with it because it usually sounds washed out. You have these attack curves, you bring that in with mod wheel, so you don't necessarily need to have long strings on the one exactly. Let's take a quick look at it. So let's take the staccato extra short. I have no idea what the track delay for these is, if they need any. So I play that back to the click. I still have the track delay on, sorry. So actually you need to have that at 0. So that is a library that I currently don't know what the track delay is. It's still loading, fucker. We just want the one articulation. I think it's sitting on a bad drive. Anyway, so now we have Xymphobia, and I have no idea how much track delay we need. So first and foremost, I would use my ear. So have the click running. And tell myself, it sounds a little bit too late. It doesn't sound really like on the beat. So you can either try extremes, say like go minus 100. 3, 4. So that's way before the beat. The minus 60 we just had before. Let's say minus 20. Minus 20 milliseconds. I would pretty much consider that done. That is pretty much what I think is the track delay here. Just from the ear. That is kind of the vague way of determining how much it is. If I were to change that to, say, Metropolis Arc, the one thing that I can say for sure, for the most part, once you have figured out the track delay for a library, usually that translates to the whole library. So it's rarely the case that different patches have different pre-delay settings. The easiest, of course, is when a developer gives you the time in numbers, like performance samples, for example, does. So performance sampled is very easy because they say their fluid shorts have minus 127, their brass has minus 80. The ukulele that they did with Audio Ollie had a determined track delay of 200 milliseconds. So if you have the numbers, then it's easy. Let's go to the, let's take this Picado 8VA from Metropolis. Set this back to 0. So again, I could go by ear and try to figure out where the negative track delay sits, but there's another method that is even a little bit more more work involved to do that, but it's more accurate if you want to find out the real track delay for a certain sound. And this is by bouncing that track like we did before, bouncing that MIDI to an audio track, open the audio track, go to the position where it starts, fade in, maybe even do this. Pierre, I will tell you in a second why that is. So, and when I cut this here, just at the beginning, and you see this little gap, and what I usually do is I kind of don't really know right now. Okay, here it is in seconds. So, and now I grab back to bars. So when I go to bars, I'm exactly on bar 1. So when I set this to seconds and I move this event around, then on my mouse you see the amount of how much I'm moving it around. So we are starting at 290 and I'm moving it pretty much. This is where I see the transient. See that here? That's what I consider the transient. And I moved it from, wait, from 290 to the transient 217, something like that. That would tell me that probably 90 minus 17 is probably around 70 milliseconds. To be precise, 73 milliseconds, if that is indeed the true transient of the sample. That this library is delayed by approximately 60 to 70 milliseconds. Because I need to move the whole audio file 60 milliseconds forward to make it in time. So when I set this to minus 65, say, as we said, it's somewhere between 60 and 70. Sorry, not samples, time-based bars. So when I now apply that back, that sounds pretty much on time with minus 60 minus 65. So that really sounds like on the beat. So last question, and again, this is something that you need to find out over time working with different libraries. So for the most part, I actually, on my Patreon, I pretty soon want to publish a list of most of the libraries that I use and that I personally know the settings that I use every day for the track delay, so that you have kind of a broad stroke overview which library requires which pre-delay. A little bit you have that. If you remember, there was a plugin when Studio One didn't support or had issues with a negative track delay. I did this there was this little plugin minus delay, and I did a list for that one with the settings for the most sample libraries. So some general settings, and then
Orchestra tools, Berlin strings, Metropolis arc. See right here, I set it to 40 milliseconds, actually 65. So there's something wrong there. So, and last but not least, the explanation for nucleus. And this has something to do with the fact that that Audio Imperia took this whole thing a tad further by unifying this pre-delay time until the transient hits, until the transient of the sample hits. And when they cut all their samples for the sample library, they made sure that this gap before the transient hits is always 250 milliseconds. So that means they have plenty of room to build up the sound until that actual transient hits. The problem with that is 250 milliseconds is not really easily playable when you have that amount of track delay. So back to Jaeger or Nucleus, it doesn't really matter. It's both the same. So when we go to the Nucleus strings, take this picado again. The initial settings when the library loads is -125. So it's not that recognizable, but that's where the sample start button comes in. When you want to play the stuff in, you want that immediate direct response from the keys. So you hit the key and you get the sound. The way the samples are cut on their end with this -250 milliseconds delay sounds way better when it's played back, because you get this natural sound of, for example, on the strings of the bow before it comes to the peak. So that means it's tough to play. And Audio Imperia went ahead and said, okay, if you want to play it, or we give you a control to determine how much of that pre-delay you want to have in the sample. And you can bring it down all the way to 0. So we cut in all the way to the attack of the samples. And this is the sample start button here. And as you can see, it says -250. That means you get all the pre-build of the sample until the attack hits. And you can bring it to 0 to make it playable and instantly react to your playing. And when you bring it down, so there is this 250 millisecond gap. And what I prefer to do when I work with Audio Imperia libraries is I have this button. I have this on a controller on my keyboard, and I can instantly, with a click of a button, switch between 0 and 250. Because when I want to play stuff in, I want to have the 0 milliseconds to have that immediate response from the keyboard. And when I play it back, I just set the controller back to -250, and the playback setting here says -250 as well. And that way, the -250 delayed sample will be played back in time. So that's the difference with Audio Imperia. And also that's another one of the libraries where you obviously then exactly know how much you need to offset your samples. So if you set the slider to -250, then you need to offset your track to -250. If you set it to -125, then you need to offset it to -125. So that's pretty straightforward. But there are some libraries out there that don't give you the exact numbers. And this is where you really need to just use your ear, adjust it, and kind of save the value for the library in the back of your head, or write it down somewhere so you have it for later use. Cool thing is that the pre-delay usually does not translate into any kind of tempo, so it doesn't really matter if you do like tempo
50 or tempo 180, the track delay is the same until the transient hits. So that is tempo independent. Wow, that was quite a long and extensive explanation of how that concept works. So hope you got that. And I will very soon publish the list with all the values that I have come across in my work time and for what I think is the best values to set these libraries up depending on what you want to do. And it usually always refers to the standard setting. So someone mentioned the fluid charts in the chat. So when I take the performance samples, fluid charts 1. As far as I remember, they have a negative track delay of minus 140. It's barely playable. And hey, MHCS, thank you for tuning in and leaving comments and watching all that stuff. So when we quickly record like 2 bars, 8th notes or whatever we have set up. So we have. So we are minus 250. That doesn't work. So, and I think it's minus 140 for fluid charts. And especially on these, on the first note, you can really hear how it's first trying to jump on the note and then the sound comes through. So you hear that little tiny thing with da-da, like on the first note. So, and yeah, 140 or I don't think that you can really hear the difference between 140 and minus 140 and minus 128. So, and yeah, Jasper included these other patches for playability purposes, because with this library, you cannot change the pre-delay. And if you go to performance samples, fluid charts, in the instrument, you have these tight versions, and these tight versions are only there for the purpose of, and I think he added them later, to have a more playable version. So when people want to play fast passages with that, even I struggle, I struggle with that too. And therefore, he included these tight versions, which give you less of the pre-delay. And they're more easy to play. But what he recommends, and what I would also do, once you're done with recording whatever you recorded on these patches, is to change them to the regular instead of the tight version, and then do the minus 140 track delay, because the thing is that these patches sound better in their original version than they do in their tight version. So tight is to record, and normal is to play it back if you want. There are several ways where you can speed up this process. You could, for example, when you put these instruments on single channels, you could have the cello tight on channel 1 and the cello normal on channel 2. And when you play it back, and then you could say, once you're done with recording, you can, let's do it. So we can say, wait.
we can say, let's put this on -1. It is on -140 already. 2, 3, 4. So that's the tight patch. If I play that back, if I let's put this in time. So if I play this back, it's pretty much in time. I think he still left a little bit of room in the tight patches. But when I bring that to -140, oops, to -140, it will sound too early. So what you could do is record what I just did on channel 1 and then just change it to channel 2, and then you have it in time. So that way, that's a fast way of working with libraries with larger track delay settings. So you could do the same for, again, I do this with Audio Imperia with like turning the knob, but you could also have like an Audio Imperia patch with -250 with no track delay on the first one and -250 on the second one, have the channel set to -250, and record with a 0 millisecond one. And once you're done recording, just switch the MIDI channel to the next one to have the playback correct at -250. So that is one workaround to work very fast with these different patches. If you have that kind of libraries that react to a control or give you different patch variations with tight and normal and things like that. But yeah, some libraries, like if you use, we can go through some of these to just take a quick look. Again, Metropolis Arc was like -65 on this one. If I take Spitfire Albion, for example, the regular string patch, let's take the individual ones, strings long, strings short, spiccato. So let's change that. Play that back on channel 1 again. So let's see. If I remember correctly, I think, I mean, again, you could go through the whole process again and just try out several values until it sounds right with the click. So when I turn the click on and say, okay, -10. Still sounds a little bit behind the beat. -20. It's getting there, but it's still not exactly on the beat. So let's take larger steps, do -70. You can clearly hear on the first note that that's too much, so that's too early. It starts before the beat. So -20 was still a little bit too... my guess will be like -45, something like that. -45 sounds pretty reasonable. So just to verify, set that to 0, convert that track to audio. Why didn't it, what happened? Oh, that was unintended. I actually wanted to say bounce to new track. So now, again, I think I need to bring up the volume a little bit just to see the transients. So when it... So again, we go to where the MIDI started, change it to time-based seconds, bring that up, and you can immediately see the gap here from where the note should start to where it actually starts. So right around here, pretty much.
this is where I would consider the note start at the peak of the first waveform. So let's quickly get back to bars. This is where our cursor is. And if I put that to seconds, click the event and hold shift. Oh, by the way, first click it to see where we are actually at. 980. So I click it, hold shift, and now I can move it. You can see where the position was before. So, and this is kind of the position that I would consider the transient. And you saw the value next to the mouse. It was 928. So that gives me 980 minus 928, 52. I said I think it's minus 45. So not that far off. I don't think that you really hear a difference between minus 45 or minus 52. But that audio will quickly render to audio and align it to the grid to see how far off it is definitely makes it very much more specific. But for me, when I don't know the library, the easiest way still is to just go by ear. Just play it a few times and adjust until it sounds right. And now setting it to the value that we kind of came up with from the render. So sounds okay-ish. The minus 45 sounded okay-ish for me too. Versus 0, which sounds just off to me. So, and for different libraries, you just gotta get a feel for how much offset you need, you know. So that's that was more extensive than I imagined it would be. But well, I hope you get something out of that and it helps. Because it's actually pretty cool to be able to adjust all the samples. Because overall what that does is it just helps you to have your overall track sound tighter and more contained and on the beat. And just when you have 12 different sample libraries with different sample starts, and you have the short violins and the short cellos and the short brass all hitting on the one. Back in my band days, we called that a big one when the drummer and the bass player did this effect instead of. So, and when that effect, that flam between two transients happens on 12 different channels at different times, it's all just very mushy and very washed out, so you don't get a clear sound. So when you align everything to the grid and have the high strings indeed hitting with their transient on the one and having the low strings hitting on the one, you just get a tighter sound overall, and that's what makes the sound more powerful. And that's why it's so important to adjust the timings of your individual samples. And again, over time, you just learn these numbers and know them by heart. So you load in Spitfire strings and you immediately know that you need to offset that track for 45 milliseconds. Or again, with libraries that you get the information. Sometimes I can only say RTFM. Read the fucking manual, because oftentimes it is actually mentioned there. And if it's not mentioned there, always Google is your friend. Pre-delay Spitfire Albion 1, for example. I mean, I don't know if that works. I haven't tried. So
when you open up Google and say pre-delay Spitfire Albion strings. Okay, that didn't work. Well, actually, look at that. Albion 3, the user manual. The user manual for Albion 3 actually mentions something about a pre-delay. But anyway, I mean, the time it takes to find the number online for a library, if there is any, just use your fucking ears. Adjust it till it fits. Done. It's just the fact that it takes some time to get a feel for when it's right and when it sounds right. And you will immediately hear, especially when you have several tracks that use different pre-delays. When you compare the non-delay compensated version, if you do a render where you have everything at 0, and then do a render with all the libraries neatly lined up to their corresponding values, suddenly it sounds tighter, it sounds better. So that's all I can say about that. I just can use one ear per actually. Well, I mean, yeah, if you can't hear bad, that's of course tough. But again, I showed you that there's a visual representation as well, so you can look at the waveform and see where's the peak and how much do I need to move it forward if you can't really hear the way it should sound. Oops, got my toes in the way. Why do I look so fat in this camera? It's a wide angle, that's why. So yeah, we kind of drifted off a little bit from that little track. What does it sound like? I mean, if you consider the fact that this whole thing is completely unmixed, it doesn't sound too bad. That tells me that I haven't routed the strings correctly. I mean, we haven't finished that neat little tune, but well, I don't really care. It's I just wanted to do something else, and it was a nice chat, definitely, about that other stuff. And put a vocal on it, yeah. No thanks. I spent 10 hours a day learning step by step. Yeah, just remember the 10,000 hour rule. You're good at something when you have done it for 10,000 hours. Said you haven't used Xymphobia in a long time. Xymphobia is kind of a special beast. It has a very clear and distinct sound aesthetics. When you want to write something that calls for this sound aesthetics,
it's absolutely brilliant and awesome. There's some stuff that has been overused. Some of the patches, especially the string effects and brass effects, have been a big part of the, say, 2008. When did Xymphobia come out? 2008? Yeah, the sound effects have been a big part of the TV sounds landscape for the last 10 years pretty much. Very iconic and very recognizable. So I would refrain from using these type of sounds in future productions because they're just worn out. So that is one of the reasons that some people say, okay, I don't touch Xymphobia anymore because it has been overused. On the other hand, there is a lot of stuff in there that is, well, easily recognizable for the overall Xymphobia sound aesthetic, but not recognizable in terms of it's that specific riser, but you still get sustains and short notes and can write with it. But whenever you write with Xymphobia, it sounds like Xymphobia. And this is not always called for. So they kind of made something great that had an awesome sound, and that sound was so awesome that it kind of became like a trademark sound. It doesn't sound like any other library out there. And it is like a blessing and a curse at the same time. You have a great sound and it sounds amazing, but suddenly it sounds too amazing, too recognizable, too much. Oh, Xymphobia. So I don't know, maybe that's one of the reasons why their latest installment was the sound effect library and not necessarily an orchestral library. Although I do not have their latest Xymphobia 4, so I can't really say anything in particular about it. So, and again, I haven't used Xymphobia in ages. I cannot remember when the last time I was that I used Xymphobia. Nope, can't tell. So, is it good? Yes. Would I recommend to buy it nowadays? I cannot say. If you like the sound and dig the sound, go for it. If you don't, or if you have other stuff that covers the basic areas that you feel comfortable with, then don't. Majestica is a little bit different. Majestica is a little more generic in terms of sound, is not as recognizable, even though it aims for a big and bold sound. One of the downsides of Majestica is that I feel, due to the size of the ensembles and making it bigger and bigger, at some point, for me, the sound just breaks together, just falls apart. The shorts, for my taste, sound very washed out and not defined. I mean, of course, you can layer that with individual libraries and maybe smaller ensemble sizes to get the definition into the sounds. It has a tendency to get synthy, you know. I think it's because of the insane ensemble sizes. So the low brass longs is not really anymore distinguishable from a Brahms sound. It's just a big mess of Brahms. It sounds big, yes. It's like, I think this is like a good portion of seasoning. If you use a little bit of salt, it can enhance a meal. But if you put salt on everything, then it's kind of like, what's the point, you know? So, use it wisely. That's what I would say. If you do that, it's a great library. If you put too much on it, it kind of falls apart. So, And definitely get it on a sale, not on full price. What about VSL Piano? Actually, VSL sent me I think the Bosendorfer. Alex is here in spirit? Can we follow right now? Did he say something along these lines? I got the VSL Piano as a demo version from the VSL guys. They sent that over to me, and I actually wanted to make a stream with it. Oh, salt and pepper. I have to be honest, I didn't do a stream because I was not too keen on the sound. Simple as that. But that's personal preference. I just didn't really like the sound. So VSL Piano, it is definitely a great piano. The recording quality is immaculate. It's a great piano in a great room. It just was not my cup of tea. I didn't bond with the sound, you know. So and that happens. Sometimes you have libraries that just don't make it into your heart, and the person next to you can do a total 180 and do it or feel it totally differently. So all I can say is check it out, check the demos. I think they even have a 30-day trial that you can try for free. Give it a try and a test run and see if you like it. And if you like it, go for it. It's not the tool that writes the music. It's you that writes the music with the tools. So, I think, first of all, we have a double output on the audio. Yeah, exactly, Pierre. Like Baroque music. There you go. Perfect. Guys, I'm gonna call it a night. I need to sleep a little bit and I need to start fucking packing tomorrow. Need to pack my studio. Well, not all of it. I still have nearly 2 weeks before they pick that stuff up. So, just reading that last bit of the chat. Anyway, you guys enjoy your day, morning, evening, afternoon, night, whatever you're doing, what you're doing. Leveler, I'm moving back to Europe in 4 weeks. Actually to Spain. So it's gonna be good. But there will be a 4-week hiatus for the stream and for the channel until everything until my studio arrives in Spain and I can put everything together again. So, just so you know, possibly next Thursday the hands-on what was it? World Suite 2 will possibly the last stream for like 5 or 6 weeks. I know, it's sad. Oh, L, that's wonderful. Mallorca's great. Polygraph, yes, I'm moving again. A little further this time, across the pond, back to Europe. So yeah, in case you want to know more, just rewind that video to the beginning. I talked about that in the beginning. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. I see you soon. Thursday. I don't know yet if we have a giveaway on Thursday. I need to contact UVI about that. I hope they are willing to throw in a copy or two of World Suite 2, but we will take a look at that nonetheless. Pierre, I didn't... nowhere in the world is safe for COVID, so that's not really the issue there. There are other reasons. Anyway, you guys and girls, take care and talk to you soon. Bye bye.